I did not expect a simple service call to stay in my head the way it did. Most jobs blurred together after a while. Houses, wires, faces, small talk. You fix the problem, get paid, move on. That is how my life has been since I moved out here. Simple, quiet, predictable. But that day was different, even before I understood why. My name is Miles. I am 30 years old, and I live just outside Sacramento. I work as a self-employed electrician. I handle small residential jobs, nothing fancy. Wiring, lighting, troubleshooting. I like working with my hands. I like knowing that when I leave a place, something works because I touched it. After I walked away from my old life in the city, and a failed engagement that I thought would last forever, this kind of work felt honest. Quiet neighborhoods, decent rent, a garage. I turned into a workshop. No noise, no expectations. Just me and my tools. That Tuesday started like any other. I was organizing my truck when my phone rang. A number I did not recognize. A woman introduced herself as Clara. She said she got my number from Steve, the guy 2 houses down. I had fixed his porch light the week before. She explained calmly that her basement lights were flickering and the breaker kept tripping when she used the dryer. No panic in her voice, no rushing me, just clear details. I told her I could be there in an hour. She said that worked. Her house was pale green with white trim, a little weathered but clearly cared for. The kind of place someone had lived in for a long time. When she opened the door, I paused for half a second. Not because she was flashy or dressed up. She was barefoot, wearing jeans and a fitted long-sleeve shirt, no makeup, shoulder-length light brown hair. It was the way she carried herself. Calm, confident, distant. Like someone who had learned how to be alone. She nodded once, asked if I was Miles. I said yes. She stepped aside without small talk and pointed toward the stairs. The basement was finished but simple. A couch against the wall, some boxes, nothing extra. The place smelled like clean laundry and cedar. Quiet. Too quiet, almost. I opened the electrical panel and immediately saw the issue. Old breaker, corrosion, signs of overheating. Manageable, but not great. As I worked, I could feel her watching me. She stood near the stairs, arms crossed, not saying a word. It was not uncomfortable, just focused. Like she was paying attention to something beyond the work. It took about 25 minutes. I replaced the breaker, tested the voltage, checked the dryer outlet. When I finished, I turned toward her and told her it should be fine now. Explained the issue in plain terms. She listened, nodded slowly, then looked at me for a long second. "You're probably married, aren't you?" The question hit me sideways. It was not flirtatious, not awkward, just calm and direct. I blinked and shook my head. Told her no, not anymore. She gave a faint smile, like she already knew the answer, and said it made sense. Then she turned and walked upstairs. At the door, she handed me a small envelope with cash inside. Thanked me. No extra words. I said to call me if anything else acted up. She did not respond. Just stood there watching as I walked away. The whole drive home, that moment replayed in my head. The way she asked, the way she said, makes sense. It felt like she had seen something in me that I had not said out loud. 3 days later, my phone buzzed again while I was rewiring a kitchen across town. A short text. Backyard lights acting weird. Asked if I could take a look. Signed with her name, Clara. I stared at the screen longer than I needed to. Most clients never call twice. But something told me to go. Her backyard was neat and quiet. Garden chairs lined up, trimmed hedges, She met me at the side gate holding a mason jar of lemonade. She looked more relaxed this time. Hair up. Same barefoot confidence. She offered me a drink while I checked the lights. The issue was likely underground wiring, poorly patched by someone before me. I told her it would need a full rewire to last. Whatever it takes, she said, I trust your work. Those words landed heavier than they should have. As I worked, she sat nearby, sipping her drink, watching me again. This time, when I looked up, she sometimes looked away like she did not want to be caught. She told me she worked from home editing manuscripts. The quiet used to feel peaceful until it started feeling loud. When I finished, the sun was low. I packed up my tools, ready to leave, when she asked if I was hungry. She had banana bread, still warm. I followed her inside. Cinnamon and sugar filled the kitchen. We sat at the island under a single light, talked quietly, not about big things. Just enough. As I left, she mentioned she might need help with the garage lights someday. I told her she knew where to find me. She did not say goodbye. She just watched me walk away again. And that was when I knew this was not just another job. It started with a voicemail, not a text. That alone felt different. Clara never called. She always kept things short, clean, controlled. I had just finished unloading tools after a long job across town when I saw the missed call. I stood there for a moment before listening, like I already knew it would change the shape of my evening. Her voice was calm but softer than before. She said my name once, then paused, like she was choosing her words carefully. She asked if I was free on Sunday and if I wanted to come by for lunch. Just a thank you, she said. No pressure. That was it. I replayed it more than once. Not because I did not hear it clearly, but because I wanted to hear what was underneath it. I did not call back right away. I sat on the tailgate of my truck and thought about the way she watched me work. The way she asked that question in the basement. The way quiet seemed to follow her everywhere. Sunday came faster than I expected. I kept it simple. Clean shirt. Jeans. I stopped at a small store and picked up a bottle of sparkling apple cider so I would not show up empty-handed. I told myself it was just lunch. Nothing more. She opened the door before I knocked, like she had been listening for my steps. She was wearing a light blue blouse and white pants, barefoot like always. Her hair was tied back loosely. She looked different. Not dressed up, just more open. She said I was early. I told her traffic was light. She stepped aside and let me in. The house smelled like herbs and butter, something baked, something warm. The table on the back patio was already set. White plates, glasses, cloth napkins. She had planned this. That mattered more than I wanted it to. We sat outside under the awning. Sunlight filtered through the trees. For a few minutes we talked about food. She told me she taught herself to cook from old books, that she did not eat out much. Then she asked if I ever thought about going back to the city, or back to who I was before. I told her the truth, that the old version of me ended somewhere in the middle of planning a wedding that never happened. That sometimes nothing big breaks. Things just wear down slowly until there is nothing left to hold on to. She listened without interrupting, nodded like she understood exactly what I meant. After lunch, she asked if I could help her move a couple boxes to the garage. She said she had been avoiding them. When I asked what was inside, she said photos and old things from before her divorce. She did not explain more, and I did not ask. The garage was organized like the rest of her life. Clean, labeled, quiet. I set the box down where she pointed and turned to face her. She stood there with her arms crossed, watching me the same way she always did. She told me I was the first man to eat at that table since 2019. She said it without drama, just fact. I stayed quiet because I knew she did not say it lightly. She said she did not invite people over, that she felt safe with me because I did not fill the space with noise or expectation. I told her she did not owe me anything. Not lunch. Not explanations. She said she knew. That was why it mattered. We stood there for a moment. Not awkward. Just still. I said I should probably go. She said I did not have to. I told her I knew, but I thought I should anyway. She walked me to the door. Before I left, she mentioned the attic light might need work someday. I told her I would be around. 5 days passed. No messages, no calls. I told myself that was normal, that it had been a meal, nothing more. Still, I caught myself opening her contact and closing it again. Thursday night, just after 8, a text came through. Short. Simple. She said she made too much tea and asked if I was around. I did not hesitate. I grabbed my hoodie and keys and drove over. Her house was dark in front, warm light glowing in the back. She opened the door quickly. The kitchen was dim and cozy. 2 mugs on the counter. Steam rising from the kettle. She handed me one and we sat in the living room, jazz playing softly in the background. For a while, we did not talk. Just sat there, knees almost touching, sipping tea. Then she asked if I ever let someone in only to wish they had stayed outside. I said yes. She told me about her ex-husband. Not cruel, just loud. How the house used to be full of noise. How the quiet after he left almost broke her. She said she thought she had made peace with being alone. Then I started showing up. Fixing things. Not asking for anything. Just being there. She told me I made her feel seen again. I told her I did not want to complicate her life. She said it was already complicated, that I was not the problem. I moved closer slowly, gave her time. She did not stop me. She said she did not know what she was doing. I told her neither did I. When we touched, it was gentle, real. When we kissed, it was not fire, it was warmth. The kind you forget you miss. She pulled away first. Said it had been a long time. I told her I could stop any time. She said she did not want me to. Later, when I stood to leave, she said this did not have to be anything. She was not asking for more. I told her maybe we just let it be what it was. I walked out into the night feeling something I had not felt in years. Not excitement. Not fear. Just quiet connection. 2 weeks passed after that night. 2 quiet weeks. No big conversations. No promises. Just small moments that slipped gently into my days. A short text in the morning. A mug of coffee handed through her door. A few minutes standing in her yard talking about nothing important. We were not dating. We were not defining anything. Somehow that made it feel safer. I thought about her more than I admitted to myself. Not in a restless way. More like a steady presence. Like a light left on in a room you are not in yet, but plan to return to. I did not feel rushed or pulled. Just aware. One afternoon, she texted that the sundown looked good and reminded me about the garden light I supposedly still owed her help with. The light was already working. We both knew that. But I went anyway. The sky was turning that soft gold color when I arrived. She was already outside, sitting in one of the patio chairs, barefoot like always, a sweater pulled over her shoulders. There was a second glass of iced tea waiting for me on the table. I sat down without a word and picked it up. She said I looked tired. I told her about a bad attic job, dust everywhere. She smiled and asked if I still liked my work. I said I did, that I liked finishing something and knowing it worked. She said she understood that. That finishing things mattered. We sat in silence for a bit, watching the sky change. It was comfortable. The kind of silence you do not feel the need to fill. Then her voice shifted. Quieter, more careful. She asked if I had thought about where this was going. I did not answer right away. Not because I did not know, but because I did. I told her I had thought about it, that I did not think it was going anywhere. Not because it was empty, but because neither of us had come looking for a future. We had come looking for something that fit where we were right now. She did not look hurt. She did not look surprised. She nodded slowly, eyes on the horizon. She said she agreed that what we had was real, but quiet. That it happened because we both needed something that did not ask for too much. She said she was not going to ask me to stay. I told her I would not ask her to change. We stayed there a little longer. She said she thought we helped each other. I told her I knew we did. She reached across the small table and rested her hand on mine. It was not a request, just gratitude. I asked if she regretted any of it. She said no, not a second. When I stood up to leave, she walked me to the gate. We did not hug, we did not kiss, but before I stepped out, she told me that if I ever needed quiet again, I knew where to find her. I told her I did. I left knowing something had already ended even though nothing had broken. That night, I drove with the windows down, let the cool air in. I did not feel sad. I felt settled, like something inside me had been acknowledged and gently put back in place. Over the next few days, I did not hear from her. And that was okay. We did not drift. We did not argue. We had said what needed to be said. I kept busy with work. Long days, tired hands, quiet nights. Sometimes, when I passed her street on another job, I glanced at her house without slowing down. The pale green paint. The familiar shape. Still there, still calm. One evening, as the sun went down, I thought about the first day I met her. The way she stood in the basement, watching me work. The way she asked if I was married. At the time, I did not understand why it stayed with me. Now I did. She was not asking about my relationship status. She was asking if I belonged to something already, if I was taken by a life that left no room for quiet. I was not. And for a while, neither was she. That mattered more than anything else. A few days later, I realized something that surprised me. I was not waiting for my phone to buzz anymore. I was not hoping for her name to light up my screen. Whatever Clara and I had shared did not leave behind anxiety or unfinished hunger. It left calm. And that told me it had ended the right way. Life went back to its steady rhythm. Early mornings, tool belts, driveways and basements, and quiet conversations with people who needed something fixed. I kept my hands busy and my thoughts simple. Still, every now and then, something small would pull her back into my mind. The smell of cinnamon in a bakery, a jazz song drifting out of an open window, a house that felt too quiet but not lonely. One evening, after a long job rewiring a garage, I sat on the step of my own place and watched the sky darken. I thought about how strange timing can be, how two people can cross paths without planning it, give each other exactly what they need, and then let go without damage. No promises broken, no resentment, just honesty. I understood then that not every connection is meant to grow into something permanent. Some are meant to remind you who you are when no one is asking you to perform. Clara reminded me that quiet did not have to be empty, that being seen did not always come with demands, that warmth could exist without ownership. Weeks passed. Then, months. I never ran into her again. Not at the store, not on her street. And that was fine. I did not feel like I lost her. I felt like we finished a chapter together. Sometimes, late at night, I think back to the way she held my hand on that couch. Gentle, certain, no rush, no fear, just presence. That moment stayed with me more than any dramatic goodbye ever could. I kept working, kept building a life that felt like mine. And When things got quiet, truly quiet, it did not scare me anymore. Because I knew what quiet could hold. Somewhere out there, Clara is living her life the way she needs to. And I am doing the same. We did not promise forever. We did not need to. We met, we helped each other, and we let go. Sometimes that is the most honest love there is.